Welcome back to ComXone. Thanks for joining me tonight. Get the housekeeping out of the way quick. My name is Charles, as always. This happens live on Twitch. So if you're watching on Twitch, thank you very much for being in the chat. Keep the conversation going. This lives on YouTube afterwards, so you can catch up on it on YouTube if you saw one of your favorite artists here. And if you're watching on YouTube, I thank you for that. And you could be watching this live on Twitch. It's where you get to hang out while we're doing this and talk about what we're doing and ask questions and all that kind of fun stuff. Tonight's a twofer. I realized after this past weekend Starry Dynamo, I kind of messed up. Let's say that. Mea culpa right up front. I kind of messed up. I didn't trade for as much stuff as I normally would. Things got a little hectic. I was not having my best market, which kept me at the table longer than I usually would, because I felt if I leave the table, I'm gonna miss a big sale. So I ended up not trading for a ton of stuff, but still we got a decent little stack of stuff. I was on the second floor of that one. We'll get to it when we talk about Starry Dynamo. But we still got part 4. If you remember from last week, we split part 3 because we had so many big, especially prose-based stuff that we were going through that was just blowing my mind. I said we better split this into another part. So we've got a slightly slimmer stack of this and a slightly slimmer stack of this. We're going to cover both of them. Let's start with wrapping up part 4 of the Shelf Life books and CommunityWise Zine Party. As always, if you like what you see, want to find out more, anything else, or you find someone who you think might be your new favorite artist, follow them off to my side here. It's always there. Jerry Belly, hello, how are you? This is one of the people from Starry Dynamo last week. You're going to see your stuff tonight. Thanks for joining in. But we're going to start. We've been doing a long set of episodes about Zine Party, which is put on by Shelf Life Books and CommunityWise Resource Center. Happens twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. This is the fall one that we just finished. We've been doing lots of parts of that. So we've been talking about them for weeks now. Let's wrap that up because we're going to do the Starry Dynamo pickups tonight as well. First, we're going to talk about 3 pretty darn amazing pieces by Bo. Bo was also at Starry Dynamo, but I picked these up at Zine Party. Let me get the information for Bo up on the screen here. Bo is awesome. I am utterly in love with the Muddy series. This is a series of sketchbook zines that Bo has been doing. I got the first one at, I think, what event did I get that at? Something last year. It might have been Zine Party last fall. But since Bo does not stop. Bo keeps drawing. Bo is always sketching. It's one thing that is pretty amazing about them is Bo has never stopped sketching. So we've got 3 more sketchbook zines by Bo. I think Muddy is awesome. It's a place where Bo shows character designs, little doodles, little characters, little scenes, and gives you just a great look into their creative process. They're sort of you get inside the head of Bo, which is kind of cool. It says, well, hello and welcome to issue 2 of Muddy, my sketchbook zine all about my art journey towards loosening up and embracing the beauty of imperfection and rough sketches. This month, I'll try to focus on incorporating randomness in my pencil strokes by varying the width and occasionally smudging. My goal for this month is to get something rough onto the page and see if I can refine it into a piece that I'm happy with. I also want to experiment with different faces and hairstyles. Let's see what happens together. So this is great. So each one of these, Bo kind of sets themselves up with a goal in mind, and challenging themselves, which I think is pretty cool. I like the idea that they're now going for like a rougher look, doing smudging, and trying to do more variable strokes, which I think is really, as you see here, really starts to open up Bo's style quite a bit. You get almost a little bit, some of these you almost get almost like a Studio Ghibli kind of feel from some of it. but then some like really cool, almost like classical drawing techniques happening here as well. You know, I can't help but think that when I start to see the smudging, it starts to feel more like an old school charcoal drawing. Yeah, great stuff. Bow stuff is cool because it has like I can picture so many of these like in a zine or in a comic or even in a video game. Some of these like the sensibility, you know, this sort of like Tamagotchi feel, stuff like that. You get to see some really quite amazing character designs. And I love that Bo is using um, this series of zines to broaden their horizons in terms of how their drawing is. Um, I'm very much in awe of Bo's ability to just keep just keep drawing and doing so much output. If I practice as much as Bo, I would draw a lot better. Bo's work is really cool. And I just love you see these really strong character designs throughout. You know, and there's like look at this scene straight out of a video game with you know, a mana bar and a health bar. So cool. Bo also does really cool like skull stuff. Whenever a skull kind of thing appears in Bo's work, it looks awesome. This looks like there's a character from way back when in the like the Genesis Super Nintendo era, Starry something. Anyone remember Starry? I don't know. That's an old one. Oh yeah, look at this study with how much studying and like texture is going on. So much smudging. Looks awesome. Yeah, Bo also does a really good job of doing stuff that like mimics other materials, like this mimicking a pasted on piece of graph paper with an illustration on it. Looks awesome. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Funny Bunny. You get sort of a watercolor feel, like and like charcoal, like watercolor, like more than just a simple pencil drawing sort of thing. So I think Bo's really pushed the boat out on this one as doing some really amazing stuff. Like really playing with the craft, really playing with their technique. And I just, yeah, I like to see all of these. You know, there's like 100 character designs in each one of these. You know, like these little prints with a just you get these amazing little character designs, and like for every single person, a different one would pop out at them. Cool like chibi style, like the larger heads, the more like doll-like looking stuff looks is the stuff that always grabs me. But then every once in a while it throws in these ones that have like almost like a fantasy medieval um kind of feel to them. Oh, and look at this one with the like leaf. Look at that. That is really something. And lots of these ones are almost like they're almost like broken toys. It reminds me of like Toy Story stuff where they were was it the one kid Spike or whatever his name is putting the pieces of the different dolls together. Like you get some of that feel in some of this where it's like mashed together children's toys almost. Yeah, this could definitely be I could see a coloring book series coming out of what Bo is doing. But yeah, this is, oh my gosh, what a month. I felt the burnout a couple times and was super hard to draw. Work is also not helping. I'm exhausted all the time. I learned that drawing a little bit every day is better than drawing a lot all at once. So this has helped me minimize burnout. I feel happy with this month's progress. I feel like I've gotten a little better at controlling the chaotic mess that is a spontaneous pencil strokes and smudges. I wonder what next month will bring. Thank you so much for coming along on this adventure and see you in the next issue. If you like their art, follow them at Bobo Tea. Pretty cool. Yeah, beautiful cover too. We got 2 more of these. We'll flip rather quickly through these. We want to try and get through everything in about an hour today, so we're gonna breeze through some of these so I don't show it all off. Yeah, published sketchbooks are super cool. I'm at the end of this, Bo's gonna have this like multi-volume set, and they're beautifully produced. Like the quality of what you're seeing here is like goes above and beyond, a lot kind of a standard one. Let's see what they want to do this time. This time they wanted to experiment with shapes that aren't normally part of their character that they are supposed to represent, and strike a balance with simplicity and detail. Yeah, this is something I find fascinating about this, is that every single month Bo is looking to challenge themselves further. Like, yeah, doing stuff that isn't normally what you'd see. Like, you're kind of used to seeing in Bo's stuff like some of these sort of chibi toy-like characters, but then you look at the shapes they're using now, and the doing some stuff that's very different. Oh yeah, like look at that. Amazing. Scott, how's it going? Scott Ford has has tumbled into the chat. Hello, Scott. Good to see you. We're looking at stuff from it's our last part of pieces from ZINE Party, which happened earlier in November. We're looking at some sketchbooks from Bo right now. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, so beautiful pieces. Yeah. Bo is definitely pushing the boat out again. Like every one of these, it's every single time we open one of these issues of Muddy from Bo, I see them pushing themselves in another way. Like, look at this like mashup here of this like almost metamorphosis, like mutation. Every time Bo is challenging themselves. What a great experiment that they're doing. Oh yeah, look at this soldier. Almost like something you'd see out of like Jinro or something. Yeah, and like almost mech-like. Oh wow. Wow. Just beautiful. Look at that. Yeah. Bo is very, very talented. But they've been putting out this, they put out 3 of these, I think, this year. If not all 4 of them have come out this year. Pretty amazing. Still, yeah, they're still struggling with burnout. Bo has given themselves a very ambitious timeline on these. Trying to put one out once a month is a lot. Even drawing every single day, that can really wear on you. Oh wow. And in this one here, they're regaining the looseness and channeling their inner chaotic demon creature and drawing more mock-up video game screens. Cool. Yeah, you get these like mock-ups of almost of video game screens. Oh, we see a little bit of going back to the doing more smudging. The great thing about this is we're watching almost in real time, because these you can you picture these coming out almost once a month or once every couple of months. Now we're seeing Bo getting more comfortable with bringing that sort of shading and smudging into their work, full time. And being able to pull that tool from the toolbox and use it when it seems appropriate. Because before we were seeing mainly loose pencil drawings like this, and now we're seeing a great mix of like more detailed, more shading, and then also some different sorts of explorations with shape, like they did in number 3, and now bringing those things all together. Like suddenly we're really seeing the pieces fit here. We're seeing Bo's like evolution as an artist, kind of like all those things are coming together. And I can't wait to see what else Bo is going to keep doing with these. Great character styles. And now, yeah, not afraid to use some more of those very different kind of shapes. Wow. And I'm also a big fan of when Bo decides to bring in these things that are like scenes from a video game, because you can also picture them as scenes from a comic book or scenes from a zine. Wow, beautiful stuff. I'm such a fan of Bo, and I'm such a fan of this series. It's just, oh my god, you run out of adjectives. Oh, you've met Bo at TCAF. Yeah, yeah. Bo's stuff is amazing. It's always a big hit when I show Bo's stuff off, because Bo has an amazing style, and they're so kind. They're so nice. Bo treated me to some candy. We were seated right behind each other, basically, at Starry Dynamo, and he gave me some. He gave me some. What are those called? High chew. So good. Such a sweetheart. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next one here. What an amazing thing, Bo. I love that you're bringing us along on your journey when it comes to your drawing. So I'm gonna quickly just do that. Yeah, watching Bo's evolution as an artist is totally fascinating. So we're moving now on to a new issue for me. This is issue number 4 of One Dyke to Another. We've shown issues 1 to 3 previously and other ones from other shows. It's a great series, and it's this very like intensely community focused. It's all about the scene in the community, um, and it's really cool. Collection of the personal work of individual lesbians and should be treated as such. Yeah, it's a cool little publication where there's usually there's some write-in stuff, there's some book reviews, there's some people's own writing illustrations. Emily's lesbian book review corner is always super cool. Yeah, sorry, I can't show that page though. Let's go to portraits of the past. So I really dig this series because I feel like I learn something every time I read through these ones. Like I learn more about the scene, the culture, the way this community creates things, how they talk about those creations, how they experience those creations, and how they share. Like this Portraits of the Past has kind of been a running segment that's been really cool because it's I love, as a big history guy, I like this because I always feel it's the thing I always say, history is not something we only learn about, we should learn from. So sharing stories from queer history is so important because this is about Gladys Bentley in the early 1900s, doing entertaining and performing, and it's yeah, I think it's important stuff. Like really, history in all of its forms needs to be shared, because I think all history is our shared history. So I have to say, Portraits of the Past is always like always my favorite part, maybe second only to when I'm reading people's prose that they send in and have in here. But otherwise, it's these stories that I think really, really grab me. Ooh. I love that they also do showcase of people's art and creations like this here by Jill, which is jean jacket embroidery. Beautiful stuff. And then there's always some cool interviews and also prose in here, some actual poetry, which I think is cool. I'm going to read this one. Let's do it. Let's read this one. It's by Ellie Burgess, untitled. You've sank your teeth in me. Like a poison, you've crawled through my veins and made a home of my heart. We have fused together, my love. I fear losing existence without you by my side. I fear becoming undone, monstrous. You are my epilogue, my prologue, and every act in between. We are two street cats with our tails entwined. We are the swans performing their lovers' dance. You are the sun, and I am the sunflower forever reaching towards you. I was made to love you, can't you tell? In every universe, every galaxy, our love perseveres. It's a good one. Oh, an interview with local drag performer Carla Marks. I have seen their name. I haven't had a chance to see Carla Marks perform, but I do know them by name. They also have this great write-in section where people ask questions, you know, Queer Abby, and based on the Dear Abby, it's excellent. What are some good masculine/butch outfits for the summer? Backwards ball cap, sneakers and socks, and cut off overalls. And I love that they did with some illustrations. Yeah, lots of cool questions. Continuation of Carla Marks interview. Oh, I love the artwork that's throughout. So they're going to do a 2-part interview with Carla Marks. Yeah, it's cool. Like I like this style of zine. I like when they sort of mimic the larger like magazine style, you know, where it's a compendium of writing, advice, interviews, artwork, writings. It's cool stuff. Emily's embroidery is awesome, by the way. Emily sells this stuff at markets. That is the same Emily who does the book reviews and is a big part of this one. The two creators who create this. One of the two. Yeah, and I love they always have a comic at the on the inside back cover. This is a great series. I like reading it. It's I'm glad they're still doing it. We're at issue 4 and they're really going. Yeah. I'm telling you, Funny Bunny, you should if you follow these folks, you hopefully will be able to find some of their stuff. Yeah, they're doing great work. They're doing awesome work. Excellent. Now we're going to move on to our second last creator of this segment, Riley BQ. Now I picked up I was able to trade for these 3 zines here, the Learning to Listen series, and then also this beautiful print that I actually got from my partner. She doesn't know yet. I've told her I have something for her, but she hasn't seen it yet. Basically anything, anytime, I have to be quiet. She's in the next room. Anytime. Oh yeah, that embroidery stuff is awesome, Funny Bunny. Emily's embroidery is great. Now Riley's, I love this because it was like, not only like anytime I see something that is like Virgo adjacent, I pick it up for Michelle because I think it's cool, and we talk about, you know, zodiac stuff and things like that. But this also, the style is this like collage style, and I love that it brings in a lot of the stuff that I know will speak to Michelle, like this here. Yeah, like cool, really great little things brought together. This quote here is also a good one. I think it reads the room right now. Beautiful piece. Now let's take a look at the Learning to Listen zines here. There's 3 of them here. Learning to Listen number 1 by Riley BQ, or What Happened When I Stopped Telling My Feelings to Shut Up. Once again, we've shown some really good stuff over the last few weeks, like showing really like these sort of, I guess they're zines, basically like personal zines. And like the vulnerability and the introspection and everything that it shows, I think is always like, shows how powerful the medium of zines is. Let's take a look at this one. If I can get this to, there we go. Sometimes I get this feeling. It starts in my chest. Sharp, pointy, and volatile. I tried to ignore it, but it kept getting louder, explosive, painful. One day, I finally sat down with the sharp feeling, summoned all my curiosity and gentleness, and asked, "Why are you here? What do you want me to know?" The feeling said, "I'm here to tell you, when your boundaries aren't respected, when you aren't feeling safe, when you need to stop and rest." This changed everything. The feeling wanted to help me, not hurt me. I unclenched my hands, turned towards the feeling, and said, "Thank you. You are my dear friend." P.S. This zine was inspired by my work as a counselor, as well as my time as a client in therapy. Learning to feel one's emotions can be terrifying, but it is also courageous and healing. If you're learning to feel, you've got this. I believe in you. Awesome. This reminds me of the ones we showed, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? The Bones and Beatles zines, the Big Feelings series. Reminds me of that. Yeah, solo therapy would definitely, hit differently for sure. Getting in touch with your feelings, it's important, but it's painful stuff. Let's look at number 2. To the sea of sadness inside me that demands to be felt. Sometimes I get this feeling like an ocean tide rising in my chest, flowing through my body. I'm going to stop for just a moment. This is something I really love about this series. Is first they describe what the feeling feels like, where they feel it, and what that sensation is. That is hugely important, is to recognize where that feeling is, what intensity it is, and what that sensation is. I feel the sinking sadness flood through me head to toe, overwhelming grief, watery darkness settling in my throat. As I notice the feeling in my throat, it spreads and spreads. I follow it to a sea of sadness in my chest, between my ribs, deep in my gut. The sadness feels unending, a bottomless blackness just below the surface. I'm afraid of sinking or forgetting the sunlight. Oh, okay. Afraid that if I start crying, I'll never stop. I'm terrified of drowning, but the more I ignore the sadness, the stormier it gets, waves growing taller and taller until they're all I see. This artwork is really something as well. Recently, my therapist asked me, what if, instead of diving into the sadness, you tried dipping in a toe? What if you just feel a little bit, as much as it can hold? So I've been practicing little by little, learning how to feel it, dipping my toes in, acclimatizing to heartbreak. This is Riley, yeah. I can wade into the sea of sadness, let grief wash over me, flow through my body like water. A wave might be overwhelming. It might feel like I'll drown, but I can always come up for air. And if it feels like too much, I can go back to shore for a break. Tell the sadness, thank you. I'll be back when I'm ready. Wow. P.S. I've been learning that feeling an emotion is different than intellectualizing it. The more I listen to my body and notice how it feels, the more I learn and the more tolerable distress becomes. Feeling your feelings is hard and your body has so much wisdom to share. You've got this. We can learn to ride the waves together. Yeah, this is a hell of a series here. One last one here. Learning to listen, number 3. To the red hot rage that jump scares me. It shows a lot of we're actually watching the journey that Riley's taken of getting in touch with those feelings, learning about where they are, what they mean, and what they're doing from like almost a protection standpoint. And yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes I get this feeling. It sneaks up on me, breaking through black static, tension in my jaw, fists wanting to clench, and hot pressure building in my core. As I notice it, it spreads, gets louder, screams at me to listen. The intensity frightens me. Often I try to ignore it, to shove it down. But that only works for so long. Eventually I'm overcome. I want to howl, to rage, to punch and break and fight back, to yell, "This is not okay." I'm afraid that if I feel it fully, I'll explode. I still don't really know what to do with my anger. I'm trying to feel it, to express it. Scream in the car, stand up for myself, make a zine. I hope it gets easier. But I haven't exploded yet. Yes, if like me, you weren't allowed to express anger growing up, I want you to know it makes sense to be angry when you're treated badly, when your boundaries are ignored, when you see suffering and injustice in the world. Anger is not bad. It can be transformative. Learning to feel it can be scary, but I'm in it with you. I promise it won't kill you. You've got this. Oh, wow. That's a hell of a series right there. Oh, reminds you of oh, Scott, you should join the Discord and put a link for Kai's work in the Discord. It would be something I'd like to check out if you know somebody who's doing work similar to this. Like I said, this also reminds me of that Big Feelings set of zines that we looked at a week or two ago. Yeah, like talking about those feelings, discussing like how they feel, what they mean. Yeah, what a informative, but also like I can see this being really helpful to somebody who's, experiencing something like this. Yeah, you can absolutely link here, Scott, for sure. Made of Beasts. Okay, I'm going to check that out. We've got one more that I traded for at Zine Party. And this segues directly into the next one we're going to talk about as well. This next one is by the ever creative, ever amazing Kevin Stebner. Kevin Stebner is a creator here in Calgary. Has put out tons of stuff, both self-published and some published works as well. I believe Kevin had 2 works published this year, maybe 3. Can't quite remember. The last one, the most recent one, was a set of poems that were all based off being created in the same limitations that a Game Genie uses. The old Nintendo game breaking piece of hardware. So every single one of them. So Kevin does a lot of these this concrete poetry, but also he loves giving himself like this, almost like a limitation, like a box that you expand a little bit. Oh, the link is expired. Yeah, I'll get it to you. Don't worry. I'll get you a message with that one. I keep telling Discord not to let the link expire ever. It never listens. I'll fix that link for the Discord. So this one here is Husky House. This is a self-published set of issues that Kevin's been doing that is all about writing, concrete poetry. Like you get this great concrete poetry on here, but it's all writings inside. And let's work our way through this. Hard rock and classic rock. Never intending for this to be a nostalgia bomb zine if I can avoid it, but I can't seem to stake it. The hole in the ground that was once Eau Claire Market, which is if you're in Calgary or been to Calgary, that's gonna hit you. This is like hyper focused on the close by stuff. The most 90s of institutions. It's Eau Claire Market is a mall that was created here. It's supposed to be like this big market, indoor, outdoor mall. I had a Hard Rock Cafe there, and never went well. Let's flip through this a little bit, and then we'll find some different parts. Oh, We got an interview here. I think I have maybe one. I can't remember if I have all the issues of Husky House or not. I bet you I have a hole there somewhere. I bet you I have like two of them and not all three. Let's read. I want to read a certain passage. I want to read a certain one out of here. Let's read Baseball Punks. What you'll learn very quickly is, like, Kevin's a great writer. There's a reason he keeps getting published. Baseball Punks. Thinking about the association with sports teams to subculture. Obviously, the idea of American teams rep by gangs is most known, the LA Oakland Raiders likely being the most notorious. But really, that whole idea is probably a racist US media concoction. But let's look to Japanese baseball for a second. My homie Soya in Tokyo, from the incredible band Segway, assures me that due to that of Hiroshima's history of overcoming the worst of hardships, it's the Hiroshima Carp that are seen as a symbol of resilience and are touted by the hardcore punks of Japan. Sora Ike Kapu! I just love these little writings. Let's read one more. No, you're a fucking butterfly. The world of pen and paper RPGs is wilder than you may think. Beyond the sword and sorcery trappings, there are some pretty out there concepts for games. Games that only use a Jenga tower instead of paper and dice. Games where the players can only silently text each other. RPG versions of the TV show Dallas. I recently got a copy of Skate Wizards, a light, small rule set game that sees players becoming wizards that skateboard, complete with its own skate punk soundtrack. Pretty sick. For the king of conceptual gaming of now, look to Tim Hutchings, maker and author of some of the most meta games I've seen tell of. An RPG where you cut up a deck of cards with scissors enacting the story of a murderous soap carver. Or my handful of playthroughs of his 1,000-year-old vampire. Almost more of an interactive fiction writing prompt than a game. Whereby you singularly write your own history of a vampire living through the ages, tragedies and victories through a series of dice rolls. It was a great time pass during the pandemic. Weirdest of all is his early conceptual RPG, You're a Fucking Butterfly, wherein 10 to 52 players plus a GM enact the art of being a jerk butterfly and slinging insults until you find your mate. Don't know if I'll ever manage to run it, but what a world we live in where one can. Yeah, great musings in here. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I recommend checking out Kevin's stuff. He runs a bookstore, as I have over there, Shed Books. And he never stops creating. He's doing concrete poetry, actual poetry, getting stuff published. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, that's going to segue us directly into talking about Starry Dynamo. We're also going to cover Starry Dynamo because as I said earlier, I wasn't having my best market at Starry Dynamo. No fault to anything really. It was just one of those days where I just didn't feel like I was getting enough traffic of people who are looking for stuff. It was probably it's a mix of like, it was right after Black Friday. I was kind of upstairs and maybe I was a little more out of the way, but it went okay. But it was one of those days where instead of trading for as much stuff as I normally do, I managed to only trade for a very small handful of stuff. But we're going to go through all this stuff. Starry Dynamo, though, is an awesome arts market. You find everything there from jewelry to zines to apparel to upcycled materials into cool, like, insane stuff to soap makers and everything in between. It's one of the coolest arts markets in Calgary. Runs twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. Quite similarly to ZINE Party, but it's focused on all things art. I love Starry Dynamo. It's super fun. My favorite ever time I've gone though was not as a exhibitor, but as an attendee. I went there with a backpack full of zines because I had chickened out from trying to apply to be an exhibitor, and I traded with people all day. That was one of my favorite times I've ever gone to a market of any sort. First one we're going to talk about here are 2 pieces plus a cool bookmark from Kalin. As always, like I said, you can follow people off to the side here if you like what you see. Now, Kalin, we've shown some similar stuff before from them. They do this cool little series where they take trading cards. I have one that has a bunch of like old Marvel cards. This one in particular uses the Mobius cards and makes these cute little notepads. And I love these little notepads. They're great. Like I like having them like in my music studio and stuff like that to write notes on. Things like that. Like something I can jot on and I mean, come on. Got some Mobius on there. Forget it. I was sold. I was looking at the ones to trade for, and the second I saw one with Mobius cards, I jumped. Trying to figure out how to show this. This is a 20-sided die, but in the center of it, in the center of this 20-sided die, there is a bee. There's like they find, you know, when they find like when they find a bee in the wild that has passed, it's like the Jurassic Park. Inside of this die, there is a tiny bee. It's impossible for me to show. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. An actual bee. Oh, you got one as well? Yeah, I was over the moon when they said take something else as well, and I said, can I have one of these dies? And I was like, oh, I'll get this one that's like cool and smoky and cloudy. And you're like, oh, you may have one with the bee in it. And I looked, I was like, there is a bee in there. Yeah, so there's actually a bee. If I hold it up to the light, I wish I could show it better. I wish I had a better way to show that. It's just so cool. Yeah, they're like, you know, because it's not like they're taking bees from the wild and burying them alive in this thing, luckily. Does it weigh unfairly? I don't think so. It still seems I was rolling it earlier and I was getting every single roll under the sun. So it's just really what's coming out of it is my terrible luck. Rolling a lot of, I'm rolling all right now. But that's super cool. That's super cool. And I love these little notepads. I was really happy I was able to trade for another one. All right, next we got a bunch of cool stickers. These stickers, I had a really good time talking. These are from Daryl Ann from DA Art. I was having a great time chatting to Daryl Ann because they were telling me that they have this like inkjet printer, and they're printing on these. They are printing this stuff directly onto these like holographic style stocks, which I'm a print guy, and I didn't think that was possible. I was quite amazed with the quality. I had to get this one that says born in the 1900s. I had to do it. Look at that. Like, look at the vibrancy in the colorization, in the coloration there. It's just, I didn't think, you know, I was like, man, maybe I need to replace the old office laser I've gotten here I've had for 15 years. Because, boy, does this ever look good, especially on these, like, shiny holographic stocks. If you're a sucker for that. And a cool card. I got Daryl Ann's card as well. So I can make sure I could attribute everything. And these are great. And I love, like, their sensibility, their artwork on here is just so good. The oh my god dead is very good. I'm a big fan of the oh my god dead ones. Demon Days, yeah, these are awesome. Yeah, so yeah, I'm like, maybe I could do some printed stickers with the right printer. You can do it, because I never want to order thousands of stickers, you know. Next. Next. They're in the chat right now. They are in the chat right this second. Jerzey. Here's their card here. Nona Belly. They actually have a they're starting a gaming Twitch channel, so you can always follow that as well. See them doing some games. Got a couple pieces. Let's look at this one quick. They have these great postcards. I love the finish on this. Like it's fully laminated, basically. It's really quite nice. And they do these wonderful explorations with flowers and floral patterns, which I thought was really cool. They had a whole sort of set of different sort of almost like a running series of these. Yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And let's take a look. I found my younger self's camera roll. This was described to me as a bunch of oh, you laminate because the paper was old. Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Like breathe new life. One thing I really dig about lamination is it changes the properties basically of whatever you apply it to, and it can transform something. Like it can give you even like your paper this like weird vibrancy, this weird like, and where you're able to really take a look at the sort of like, yeah, it can accentuate things like fibers in the paper, which I always think lamination can do some cool things when it's used. When you experiment with lamination, you get some really neat outcomes. So this one was described to me as a bunch of pictures that couldn't be used for other projects, but they thought, heck, let's make a cool photography zine out of it. So we get a series of really cool photographs. I love this sort of thing. Like it's almost like some of the way these are done, it's almost like you're just, first person, like, or almost like a fly on the wall. What show is that's going on there? I recognize the actors. Is that NCIS or something? Playing on the screen. Oh yeah, look at that. I am a sucker for a good like sunset or sunrise shot taken from a car. There's something special about it. Criminal Minds, yes. Okay. Yeah. There's your ring light. Doing your makeup in the morning? Is that what that is? It's cool because like with my naked eye, it's kind of hard to see what's in the mirror, but when I hold it up to this camera here, it's almost like I'm enhance. Enhance. It's a neat thing about looking at stuff the way I do in this on comXone here, because I hold things up to this camera and I often look at it on my screen that's just behind here. It can like really, that's where I'll notice things like, oh, look at the moire pattern that's happening here that I didn't notice before, where you get that almost photocopier effect. Beautiful. Oh, you took that photo to show your tattoo. Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, I think I see a tattoo there, but I can't. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a nice shot too. These are all super cool shots. Like I'm glad you decided to put these into a zine, because it's always funny. Sometimes these things, they just like they'll disappear and not be, and here you're able to turn it into a piece of art. And that's cool. Ooh, here we go. You are not the first pair of eyes that I've confused for, oh no, or what does that say? For her? Is that what it says? Oh, I'm having trouble reading it. For home, sorry, yes. You're not the first pair of eyes that I've confused for home. But you are, by far, the hardest to leave. Oh. I think you need to do a lit zine in your future. More of these writings. More writings, please. You're by far the hardest to leave. Yeah, I want to see a lit zine from you. That's a nice piece of prose right there. Awesome. Really cool. It's neat having you here while I'm showing your stuff. Yes. Yes. Well, listen to them. Listen to me and listen to them. I want to see a lit zine from you next time. Next time we're showing at something, I'm hoping I'll see a lit zine from you because that's good writing. I think it was good. It's very like evocative. Now we've got a very cool set of ones too from the Philippines, from MayRi. This first one's called Around the World, Island Stories, Philippines. Beautiful photograph. Yes, so this is Jerzey's cousin who's trying to, and good on you for helping them get a foothold here in Canada with their art. Another great photography zine. Beautiful shots. Really nice. Just gorgeous. Really good sense of composition. And then putting it next to one that's like more of a, almost like a macro, matte style, really exploring texture. I love it. I love it. The curation in this is very well done too. Like the juxtaposition of how these have been put together is very cool. Playing with almost like chiaroscuro here, like the huge contrast between light and dark. Very nice stuff. Very nice stuff. And View of the Erie. Yeah, what a great, like, it's a great way to start. Really like to get that foothold. Is doing something that's like being able to go like, okay, I'm going to take some photographs, I'm going to put it together, I'm going to curate it in such a way, is a great way to do it. Many who got their zines too have made short stories and sent them to her for encouragement. Oh, cool. Yeah. The photography is great as well. Like these are, and really nicely put together. Like the zines themselves are really beautifully produced, very precise. Yeah. Very well done. Well, I hope your cousin will see this video and it will help to spur them on to creating more because these are great. They're very cool. Reminds me of some of the photographic work we were seeing from like Evan Robinson and some of those folks that we've shown in previous episodes of this. Yeah, I love a good photo zine. I get pretty blown away by that. Next, we've got two more creators. The next one we're going to show is Georgia. Got three neat little pieces from them. First, we just have a very cute. They go by Blueberry Design, and that's cute. That's really, really beautifully done. The style of it, I love the lettering. The typography in this is really nice. What a strong aesthetic. It's gorgeous. I love it. I also picked up a oh, hi Frog, how's it going? I also got this from them. Krusty the Clown. Got a Krusty the Clown from them. Homer gave me a kidney. It wasn't his. I don't need it. And it came postage due, but still a lovely gesture. There's more of Patty and Selma, but that's fun. That's a fun one. I also traded for this beautiful, like, Georgia is very humble. Georgia's like, I don't know, it's just silly doodles. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I really like, let's get right in and really look at what's going on here. It's reminiscent of some of the work we've seen from like Matthew Springer that we've shown on here. Really cool stuff. Like just so as Georgia explained to me is she said like basically I kind of start with just some random movements and then it sort of like emerges and then it's just and I'm just doodling. But yeah, like I like this kind. I'm a sucker for this style of illustration because I like the gestural um like contour line almost kind of feeling of these things. That sort of stream of consciousness. It's like when you come across someone doing a blind contour drawing. I love it. I like this kind of thing. I like that it brings together like geometry and the natural world. Like there's a good like mix, like almost like a juxtaposition of the two of these like it's almost gets into like a mechanical mathematics based thing with this like more purely like soft feeling. Cool stuff. Very cool stuff. So nice work, Georgia. Good to catch up with them. And finally, last but not least, so I was able to catch up with one of the Brien brothers. So Bill's Benevolent Society, Bill's Benevolent Association, I think is what they go under. It's two brothers. It's Josh and Evan Brien. I put just Evan's information over here. Evan was the one who was there, and I picked up this piece that's the work he's been doing in the past while. So Evan's stuff is awesome, but both brothers are really talented. You might remember some of the stuff I've shown from them before. It's been posters. It's been like newspaper style stuff. It's been the sort of like cowboy poetry stuff. Lots of that. So this here, what Evan explained to me is he's actually doing an artist's residency right now. And then this is some of the work that he's been doing over the past year throughout 2024. He wanted to have a way to kind of pull that stuff together and show it. So he made this little zine that pulls together all these pieces. I just love they called it Since I Saw You Last, because I literally walked up to him and I said, "What's new this year? What's new this year? Here's what I got that's new this year. What do you got? What's the new stuff?" And so he said, funny you ask. I've got this here. It's called Since I Saw You Last. And it's perfect. So what Evan often does with these here is these are I think collage undersells it. I think collage is the wrong way. It's almost like an assemblage. It's found things from different publications, sometimes unknown sources. He lists all in the back. So say, for example, when we get to image number 14, which is empowerment, the border was from a Sears and Roebuck catalog from 1910. The emotional support text was from a bound dog harness. Our problem was from an unknown source. And then he's got a couple pieces from different books. One's from a high school physics textbook, and one's from a You Staying Young Illustrated, and another, yeah. So when you look at these things, he actually pulls these different things together and makes new compositions with them in a way that I think goes far beyond. That's why I said collage is the wrong word for it. Because he is taking these disparate things and really creating something that feels like it's a fully comprehensive, like these things were created to be together in their composition. And that's what I think is cool about the stuff that Evan does, is he pulls these things, he finds these things, and he puts them together in a way that looks like these are purpose made to be together. And they're awesome. They're awesome. Fame, fortune, happiness, the choice is yours. Careers. Make up to $5 an hour in your own year-round business. Like, just the way he pulls these things together, and he pulls together all of these different things together and combines them. Just looks awesome. Now, when I was looking at Evan's Instagram the other day, which you should follow, right over there, he was saying that he's actually got an open house that is happening soon for the artist's residency that he's a part of. So you can see what he's been working on for the past while. That happens later in December here. Yeah, awesome. These are great. I love these. Also, he's got the Alberta plates stuff here. Just cool pieces. Everything that that these two create are really quite awesome. This one here, it's something about this one really speaks. Affliction. That's not fair. There's something about this one that speaks to me a whole lot. I don't know why. I can't explain it. There's something there. To explain it, I'd have to be too introspective. I don't know. Awesome stuff. I love it. These are great. I love these. They're always creating these two. They're always making cool stuff. That's a heck of a piece. I'm glad I got it. And okay. Yeah. Yeah, everything's super fun tonight. Really good stuff. Okay. So that's everything I have to show you. Let's do a quick, I like to do a quick recap at the end just to see what we've looked at tonight. We had Brien. We had Georgia. We had Jerzey and MayRi. We had Daryl and stickers. And we had the embedded bee, as well as the note card from Kalin. And that was the Starry Dynamo stuff. And then from Zine Party, we had another little stack of stuff. Boy, I'm always so grateful for being able to do these trades. Boy, I can't tell you. We had Kevin's cool Husky House. We had Riley's really amazing learning to listen series and this beautiful print. I'm going to be giving this as a gift minutes from now. The next issue of One Dyke to Another. And we had 3 issues of Muddy from Bo. My God, what a cornucopia of amazing stuff. So that's it for comXone for tonight. As always, like I said, I'm Charles. This happens live on Twitch. We've had a great full house of people in the chat tonight, including Abel. Oh, first time you've heard about Zine Party. It happens twice a year. It's put on by Shelf Life Books and CommunityWise Resource Center. It is a purely zine focused show. Although there's other stuff there as well, but it's primarily, it's like 95% zines. It is really cool. If you follow here, let me put this back up on the screen. If you follow Shelf Life, you'll find out when they do their applications for it. It's great. My 2 favorite markets are Starry Dynamo and Zine Party are my 2 favorite Calgary markets. They're great. They're both really, really great. As always, I thank you so much. For those of you who are here tonight on Twitch, thank you for joining me. We're probably going to do a little bit of game stuff after this. But for those of you on YouTube, thank you for watching on YouTube. You could be catching this live on Twitch. It's super fun. Ask anybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on the comXone. These happen not every Wednesday night, but when they happen, it's always a Wednesday night. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.